And this is Coach Toyin speaking. It's such a pleasure to have you here with me. If you're team replay, thank you also for watching the replay. And if you're a regular on my social media show, you're welcome again. Today, I have a very fantastic topic for us to discuss, to dive into. And I also I want you to engage as well. So this is more of a two-way conversation. I have LinkedIn audio going. I also have YouTube, LinkedIn Video Live, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So thank you everyone for being here. Let me do a quick introduction if this is your first time ever of joining my live show. I'm Toyin Umesiri. I'm the founder and CEO of Nazaru. I'm the author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur. I'm an expert in international trade development and entrepreneurship, and I also host a TV show here where I work with government stakeholders to advance economic development. Okay, so today, millionaire mindset versus entrepreneur mindset. What I want you to think about is the fact that, hey, Kabbalah guy, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Awesome. And I see Oyin Anaguel on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here as well. Feel free to raise your hands if you would like to ask a question or if you would like to engage and contribute as well. Like I shared, this is more of a conversation. I want it to be a two-way conversation. Okay. So, the first point I would like to make today is that not all millionaires are entrepreneurs and not all entrepreneurs are millionaires. So think about a Venn diagram. Okay. If you had to draw a Venn diagram, because what I would like to do today is just dive into the different mindsets and similarities and differences between both. And so that you can be more aware of the journey you're on. Everything I talk about is always about wealth creation. Okay. Wealth creation mindset. So the first point is that not all millionaires are entrepreneurs. Not all entrepreneurs are millionaires. Okay. But there's an intersect. So if you have a Venn diagram, in the middle is where they collide, where you would find similarities. Okay. You're going to find similarities, but on the entrepreneurship side, you're going to find so many people who step into the world of entrepreneurship that do not have a millionaire mindset, okay? And their approach to entrepreneurship, right? The mindset they've adopted that they come into entrepreneurship with is limited because whatever you're doing in life, right? You're going to get the mind you bring to your work is what you're going to get, is what determines the results and the outcomes. Okay. So, in my book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, Strategy, Skills, and Mindset for Achieving Business Growth and Success, what I did in that book, and it's available on Amazon, right? What I did in that book is to equip those who are really considering entrepreneurship or they've started that journey and they've not seen success, the success they want to achieve, right? What is the right mindset to approach entrepreneurship with? What type of skills, what type of system, what type of strategies, right? And then in my school, my academy, I go deep dive into teaching and training my students. Okay. So, like I shared, not all millionaires are entrepreneurs. People that are building wealth that are millionaires, right? You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a millionaire. Okay. Some entrepreneurs are millionaires, meaning they built wealth through that journey of starting and launching a business from scratch. But you also need to see that many people are going into entrepreneurship and the approach and the skills and the mindset and the systems that they are bringing to that game will not fetch them $1 million. Okay, that's the first thing I want to lay out. So let me know what you think about that. Miss Kubalaga is already here. She's a regular. Thank you so much. What do you think about what I just shared? Because when you engage with me, any of my programs, I want us to think. It's about thinking differently. If you want to accelerate your journey to success, if you want to speed up if you want to arrive sooner. Okay. The key is to not do what everybody's doing. You have to differentiate yourself. You have to do something very different. Okay. Because if you do more of the same that everybody's doing, you're going to get the same results. When you want exceptionalism, you have to arrive and come at it with a different mindset. Okay, let me share one major difference. Okay. When it comes to the millionaire mindset, okay, it's about equity ownership of assets, right? It's about valuation. Okay. Millionaire mindset is about owning assets that has value, that can be valued at a millionaire, at $1 million, right? Or more. Okay. When it comes to entrepreneurship, right? You're building. Now, if you bring a millionaire mindset to entrepreneurship, you have this journey. Your attempt would be to create a business that can generate value, that holds value, and can deliver value of at least $1 million or more. If you don't bring a millionaire mindset to entrepreneurship, you find people really pursuing the barest minimum. Okay, they're pursuing the barest minimum, right? Because the laws of sowing and reaping in entrepreneurship comes in when it comes to this conversation. Okay. If you, so as example, I always like using stories, right? If you're a farmer, your expected yield need to inform and guide your investment, the seed. The amount of seed you invest or you plant on your farm, okay, is going to reflect in your harvest. That's the mindset I want you to think of this as. So if you want an harvest, say, of $1 million in your business, okay, what are you building? Okay, what are you building? How are you building? What are you investing? How are you structuring your business? Okay, that will get you the outcomes and results. That's the difference, is that it's about vision and targets and goals. Because when people don't set goals, you get what you get. And this is where the world of entrepreneurship, it's all over the place. I'm telling you, it's all over the place. It's it's a wild, wild west. Okay. So millionaires think about as assets, right? So you can buy a real estate, like you can invest in real estate, and the value goes up. Okay. That's why I said not all millionaires that you might have assets that is valued at least $1 million. You don't have to be a business owner, right? Or an entrepreneur. Now, some would also invest in stock, right? Think about stock as you're taking part ownership of an existing business that you believe the future value of your stock, right, is greater than the current value. At least that's what you're hoping for, even though the market goes up and down. I get it. But so the mind of an entrepreneur is different than a millionaire mindset. But again, there are similarities, but there are more differences that you would find. Okay, I see comments coming in. Miss Kabalaga says, it makes a lot of sense. I can see how even now I'm having to shift my mindset around how I do business to generate the type of income I want. Awesome. So you mentioned the word income. Okay. Let me dive into that a little bit. Okay. And I want to quickly, I'm playing around with another platform here. Pardon me. Let me just quickly get that going again. Okay. You use the word income. Income. Okay. That's a language of business owners, right? In the world of like millionaire mindset, they are more equivalent, right? Because value creation, value extraction so as example, if you own real estate properties and it's a rental property as example, you own the assets and you have people living there, and they're paying for, right, the rent. If the rent covers your mortgage, right, or you have to add on, right? So the language of what is being generated by the asset is different, right? In the world of business, we talk about income, right, profit, loss, all those things. But in the world of the millionaire mindset, the language is determined by the type of asset. So let's say you have stocks. We start talking about dividends and shares and all of those things, right? The language is different. It's all about cash flow, right? It's all about monetization. Once you build an asset, okay, converting the asset to generate cash, right? Or ownership equity, the language is different in the world of, right, wealth creation, millionaire, outside of entrepreneurship, right? But if you're an entrepreneur, the first thing is, what have you built? What's the value of your business? Right? We start talking about, if a millionaire is involved in entrepreneurship, income is not the first thing you think about, even though cash flow will sustain the business. We want to think about valuation. What's the value of what I'm building, these assets? Because that's why I said not all entrepreneurs have the millionaire mindset. They're not building assets. The moment you cannot step away from your business, the moment the business cannot function without you, you've lowered the value of that business. Okay? The moment the business is you and you are the business and you've not decoupled, you've not separated your identity from the business, like the entity you versus the entity the business. If there's no separation, if somebody else cannot come in and run that business and generate cash flow, the value is not yet there, right? Because you also want to look at, if you're an entrepreneur, you also want to look at what's going to hold equity. What are the things within your business that has value, that is perceived as valuable? Let me give you one clue that most new first-time entrepreneurs don't even think about at all. Brand. Your brand. Nike's brand is where the value is. They're selling shoes. It's not the shoes. Okay? So that's why even in my 10-week accelerator, my students go through intense, rigorous study of brand building, how to build your brand. The reason is because products and services come and go, because it's based on the needs of the marketplace, and the market shifts from time to time. And you've got to keep improving on products and services. But consistency in messaging, the relationship you're going to have in the marketplace, is at the brand level, right? When we think of Nike, we think of Nike. When we think of Apple, we think of Apple. But Apple keeps generating value through their products and their services. And that product and services they keep innovating and they keep changing. Because if I ask you now, if Apple were to offer you iPhone 2, you will not accept it, because the value of iPhone 2 is like zero value, near zero value right now. Okay, so value of product and services is part time. Relationship at the brand level is really what lasts the lifetime of that business. And many times, most entrepreneurs do not invest in building brands. They do not put any equity in their brand. So when their products and services are no longer in demand, everything gets swept away. The business is out the window. Okay? But if you have a brand, you can innovate, you can shift, you can adjust, you can expand. You see, so that's what I'm just sharing one. In my school, I go into all of these things, from money mindset to branding to marketing to sales. You've got to master these things if you want to build at least $1 million business. You cannot be chasing crumbs. You need to be creating assets. that you can turn around and sell. Right? Because when you come into entrepreneurship with a millionaire mindset, you're not like, it's just a different, you're looking to build an asset, because millionaires think about ownership of assets that has value, that commands value, and that can generate value for the market and then the owner as well. Equity is what we're looking for. And the reason I also said not all millionaires are entrepreneurs is because you can literally go and buy asset equity in somebody else's business. You can own shares. You can invest in somebody else's. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be the risk taker. You can evaluate, like Warren Buffett, you can look at the stock market, you can look at businesses, you can see the performance, you can look at the leadership, you can look at their results, right? I serve on a board. You can take a look at all these companies, and the one you trust that you believe the value is likely to go up, to increase, you can just put your money there and just go home and play. You don't have to go through the stress of entrepreneurship to, right, to be a millionaire. You don't. Okay? But there are advantages and disadvantages. The main advantage of entrepreneurship is that if you are the first person that will create wealth in your family, meaning you weren't born into a millionaire family. Okay, hear me well. This is the main advantage of entrepreneurship, and this is why I teach. This is why I wrote my book. This is why I push heavily, because many people in my community, many of you listening to me, you weren't born into a millionaire family, and you love to be one. Entrepreneurship is the entry point. If you've never built wealth before, entrepreneurship gives you an opportunity to create wealth if you do it right anyway. Because that's why I said not all entrepreneurs have the right mindset to build $1 million business, right? Because if you go from employee mindset and you register a company and you tell me you're an entrepreneur and I'm looking at you talking with you, and you're still speaking like an employee, I'm going, get my book, get into my school. You need to quickly adopt the right mindset that will make sure that the harvest and investment you're putting into building this business, you're able to structure it well, right? You're able to win and achieve the results you desire. Okay. More comments. I see Amengo says, I'm for Senegal. Thank you for being here. I know we have a global community joining us. If you're on LinkedIn, you do have the privilege of joining me on audio, asking questions. Those who want to leverage audio platform, if you want to speak, if you want to engage, come on to LinkedIn and find my profile, Toyin Umesiri. Actually, Toyin Umesiri. I was about to tell you my website again. Anyway, oh, I see this comment coming in. Miss Kubala guy says, Coach, this is God. This is so timely as I look at sharpening focus on what I'm really good at and building out my team to cover the rest. Awesome. Yes. You know, there are 3 stages I always talk about in business if you're an entrepreneur, right? You're building, you're growing, you're scaling. The building phase requires specific skills, mindsets, right? When you're building from scratch, when you're growing and you're seeking more customers, okay? You want to building phase, that's when you establish all of these things, your product, service, on, your framework, brand, right? Build phase. When you move into the growth phase, you're like, okay, now it's working. Now we have a winning product. Now we know who our customers are. Now we know all of those things. We're selling, we're making money. We want to expand. Now you're looking for more of the same type of customers. Grow, that's the growth phase. And then the scaling phase, listen, the mind that created build and grow, listen, you need to rewire that mindset, because scaling is the acceleration. When I talk about quantum leap, okay, this is where we go into automation, systemization. Listen, you may build a business, you may grow it, and if you don't have the specific skill to scale it, many businesses do not move into the third phase. So I served as a strategist for the largest company in the world, Fortune 1. When I talk about strategy, systemization, listen, that's why I talk about big business strategy. you can grow your business, you can accelerate your growth to success, which is what I teach. You can build it faster, sooner than later, with the right strategies, mindset, and systems, with the right vision. Okay. But if you don't set it right, for example, if you're trying to build a house, if the foundation is only for 4 rooms and then you change your mind, you want 10, 8 rooms, you have to go back to the foundation and fix it. That's why scaling requires you to take a look at what you did from the beginning and making sure you have the structure in place that can help you speed up, okay, accelerate the results you're getting. Okay. I mean, okay, you just said something in French. You typed something in French. Oh my goodness. Oh, English. I speak French. Bonjour. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so oh my god, could you go to Google and find a Google interpreter? Like on Google, you can use the interpreter. Type what you want to type in French. It will convert it to English and then copy and paste in English. Let's try that. Okay. I see real Sam Weary saying, "Can you scale a retail business?" Absolutely. I mean, I served as a strategy to the biggest company, the biggest retailer in the world, right? 500 billion. I think now it's like 600 billion annual revenue. When you think about Amazon, Amazon is a retail business, but with a spin, with a nice spin, right? Cloud computing, automation, acceleration. Okay, you talked about small. I'm reading what you're putting out there. Small retail business. You're using, okay, let me call you out a little bit. When you use the word small retail, just the language, okay? Because I'm an intuitive, okay? So I sense what people are saying and what they are not saying. I can almost sense an hesitation from you, right? I can sense like you're saying, can I scale my business? The answer is yes. However, the mind that sets the vision, right, is something that has to be worked on, right? This is why I develop several mindset programs for my students, because if I teach you business skills, which I do, it's like if you give a car to like an 11, 12-year old, they can wreck, they may not know how to drive that car. Many people don't know how to drive their business. They've not trained themselves to build it, to run it. It's like a plane. If you give a plane to someone that is not a trained pilot, the plane will not take off. So that's why I always teach and train. I have several mindset programs in my academy. And you want to go to toyinumesiri.com/programs to see the different programs. And you can also reach out. You can DM me, you can email, you can set up some time, because mindset is everything. You may desire certain results, but only those who have the skills, the mindset, right? Even the relationship. That's another topic. The relationship, right? That millionaire mindset cultivates and develop is different from, okay, the relationships other people cultivate. Sounds good. Awesome. Yeah. So go to Toyin, www.toyinyumesiri.com/programs. You find entrepreneurship programs, you find one-on-one programs, you find international trade courses as well. So that page is kind of summarized to help you access different programs that would immediately help you, right? So you find out that mindset is everything, right? You can have a desire, and yes, it starts with what desires do you have? And then quickly, we need to make sure that if your desire, as example, is to become a millionaire, go and read the definition. It starts first with valuation of assets. Everything that you know, that you own, what is it valued at? What value can it create? Can it generate? And if you're an entrepreneur with a millionaire mindset, you ought to be building a business that becomes an asset that can be valued at $1 million. That ought to be, right, where you're going. The reason is because many people are involved in business development, but if you take a closer look, they've not built, there are no assets tied to that business. Okay? Right? Which means you cannot sell. There's nothing to sell. Assets can change ownership. Okay? Assets can change ownership. So if you're an entrepreneur, let me know. Come up stage, raise your hand, join the conversation. Let me know if you have questions. There's a whole list. I'm not going to cover it today, everything today, but I just wanted to start this conversation publicly. There are other conversations in my academy. And in fact, there are several things going on. Let me just go through a few announcements. My TV show. So I run a TV show here in Illinois. Okay. And that TV show brings in government stakeholders because, listen, where we are going, the things we're doing, the people who follow me, my clients, the people I work with, right? We have a game plan. And that's why I was talking about relationship. Okay? The relationships and the resources, the relationships you build will determine the resources you have access to, right? To build whatever you're building. To own assets, right? To build assets, to manage assets, to increase the value of assets. You will know people and people will know you. And you realize that a lot of first time entrepreneurs, they are building in isolation. You cannot grow, right? The only way you grow a business is to increase your reach. That's another strategy. Okay? To increase your reach. Not people who build $1 million business. Listen, there are several things you have to do differently. The value of relationships, the value of people who talk about your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. This is where it starts making sense. I always talk about networking. So there's a program, the game plan, 12 strategies for winning life and business. One of the strategies I cover has to do with networking. And I talk about network is like a bank. Okay. The value of your network, the value of my network and the value of your network, they are not equal. They're not the same. Okay. They're not the same. The people you know and the people I know, what I can tap into and what you can, they're not the same. So millionaire mindset ensures that their network commands value. So in your network right now, if we were to do a calculation, the combined people that you know or that knows you, can their combined network be $1 billion? The combined net worth of your network, where would you put it right now? When they say your network is your net worth, do a quick math, and ask yourself, the people that I know, their combined net worth, what number would you put there? The people you are doing life with, the people in your community, if you are to assess and say what is their own net worth, can you say $1 billion? Do you know enough people that command $1 billion? You see where this gets interesting? Because out of your network is what you can dip into and extract. Okay. Miss Kobalaga, I've gone into my funny laughter. Okay, let me bring it down. Many people are not ready for it. Let me read what you just posted. Your question is, what are the checkpoints where you have to shift mindset as an entrepreneur to ensure you're thinking like a millionaire? The first thing is Believe do you want it, and do you believe you can go after it, and can you commit to go after it? Okay, real Sam Weary says these people are like 5 million. Okay, not bad if your network has a network, but realize that you are the average of them. Okay, this is why I was talking about relationships. Okay, what can you sell to? Who can you sell? Whose platform would you leverage to amplify, right? To reach more people. It's all about who you know and who knows you. Okay? Who you know and who knows you. This is a huge factor in success. So he said, what are the checkpoints? The first, it begins with you. Everything begins with you, because this stuff, right? You are the one to cook the food. What do you want to eat? And what are you ready to invest, right? But the first thing is vision. If this is a desire that you have, and the reason I'm having this conversation, by the way, is to help people elevate. I've been talking about mindset ascension. I covered some of that. Was it earlier this week, Monday, I think? The days are going fast. This is already second half of the year, right? The reason I'm covering this is because if you don't shift your gaze to higher, many people are like head down, literally picking up scraps and struggling and fighting for limit. It's the limited mindset. Okay? Many people are doing business with limited mindset because they don't have a sense of what's possible. So the first thing is to believe. Okay? That's where it starts. It starts within you, right? And then the next thing is to then count the cost. And these are the one-on-one work I do, right? The strategy, the game plan, right? Because now you have to, it's like if you want to participate in the Olympics, you prepare for the Olympics, you don't prepare for local events. Do you understand? Like if you're enrolling in Olympics and you want to be a champion, heavyweight champion, you don't eat the food people, you don't eat the regular food, you don't wake up at the same time other people wake up. Your strategy skills must be amplified. Your marketing would amplify your sales skills, right? This is where you start building sales teams and all of those things, right? Because it's a math game, it's statistics at the end of the day to say how many people do you need to reach, right? How many people do you need to engage with and put your offer in front of them? What is your conversion rate? I'm summarizing this thing. There's stuff in my school, right? How many people do you have to reach with your message? Because if you want to reach a million, let me just paint a picture. See, I want to be practical as possible. Let's say you have a product that is $1,000. You need $1,000 to sell $1,000,000, right? So you need 1,000 people to invest in your offer of $1,000. The question is, where are you going to find 1,000 people? What message are you going to distribute to them? What vehicles are you going to use to deliver that message? Okay, what's the conversion for every 100 people? And this is where historical data is also important. This is where the next level consulting comes in Quantum Leap, right? Is that you need historical data, right? This is why I talk about the 3 phases: build, grow, scale. When you start going into millionaire mindset as an entrepreneur, that's where you scale. But I'm giving you just a quick math game you can do by yourself. You have a million, you want to hit a million, your product is $1,000, you need 1,000 people. But here's the key: 1,000, just to give you, let me take you guys into the edge space of how we think, okay? But be careful before you think it's easy to create $1 million product. Realize that what did it take Apple to create a phone that it can sell $800 and above? What did it take Microsoft to create a laptop that it can sell for 2,000? So many times This is where in my school I talk about excuse me, price versus value, how to price a product. The strategy I always preach and I teach around is price needs to be less than perceived value if you want to sell. I'll stop there. If you want to learn more, reach out or enroll. Okay. So before you think, oh, $1,000 product to sell $1,000 is easy, check again, because you are going head to head with companies like Apple that sell 1,000 products that are valued $1,000 and more. You now realize that millionaire mindset, or now billionaire mindset as Apple, they build assets, they invest in assets that can create $1 million, right? Sale. Every day they're selling, I don't know what's the volume of sales they're having every day, but I can assure you it's millions of dollars. Okay. What will it take you to build the infrastructure and systems that will help you create a product that is valued at $1,000 that you can then sell and reach 1,000 people? You now also realize in the marketing sales space, as I always share in my school, my students know this. If you brand well, it will make sales easier. If you do not brand, sales will be the most difficult thing you can ever think of. Because at the point of sales, we have a lot of questions. If you've not addressed all those questions with your messaging, nobody's buying. Okay? Nobody's buying. So you realize that it's an elevated thinking, not just building from scratch or growing, but at the scale level is everything you're doing must scale. Your message must scale. Okay? Marketing must scale. The platforms that would help you deliver a message, right, that will reach enough people that when you do your math conversion, it comes to 1,000 people buying from you, you realize that it's a different game entirely. Okay? So, what are the checkpoints? Check within you. And then the strategy is bringing everything back to the drawing board. And then you want to activate pillars of growth. Okay. And pillars of growth is different depending on what sector you're in. So, let me give an example. So, let's say, okay, I have a skincare line, my lipstick line, my skincare line. To scale that, it could be relationship with retailer to distribute. But if you are running it on your own e-commerce, that is direct to consumers, then pillar of scale would be your marketing. You spend more money, say, on Facebook marketing, because you need to reach more people because of your conversion rates. Not everybody that sees you, hears you, will buy from you. What percentage of people you engage with are ready to buy now? Okay, so that's different. Ah, I see. Oh, she says, I need new friends. He said, I need new friends. Miss Kubala guy. Okay, that's funny. I think that's the funniest thing I've seen this week. I need new friends. Yes, we all need new friends. We all need new friends, right? Millionaires have friends in high places because that's the only way you do this thing. Okay, that's the only way you do this thing. That's why when I see people that they are not actively, cultivating relationships with real people, when I host events like my show, I'll run through my announcements again. The reason is because when I host my show, there's going to be like live guests. There's also live audience, meaning I'm giving that platform every week for people to come and meet big people. When I host events, I bring in ambassadors and government stakeholders so that you can expand. Usually it's like tap into, like, we are friends, we do things, right? If you're doing big things, if you're reaching the world and you're having the level of impact that I'm having, you need you need you need to expand your network. You need people that can, get things done, that can write checks. You need people that can write checks. You need people that can do big things. Big things. But when you go online and you're talking to, you are trying to support and help few people, you realize that it's a funny, it's the mindset is not where it, well, that's why I talk about mindset ascension. If you want more, you need to think differently. Okay, I see another comment here. Listen, that's the truth, Lo. I'm actively expanding my circle as well. That's it. If you're in my school, if you're my client, if you're my member, listen, it's all about relationship. It's all about relationships. Who you know and who knows you, and the collective capacity and resource. One of the things I always say is that location matters, because location, right, will determine the information you can access, because the knowledge that is required to build a million, right, a millionaire mindset or $1 million valued business. Let me just say business, even though not all millionaires are entrepreneurs, but you're going to buy equity. It's about asset valuation, right? Do you own assets that can be valued, that is valued at $1 million or more, that can generate that kind of value? Okay. Okay. To do that work, it requires people, it requires information, it requires resources. And most of the resources you're going to need is actually in the hands of people. Most of the knowledge you need is actually in the minds of people. So that knowledge transfer, if it doesn't happen, you can't you are limited by what you know and what you can do, right? That's a fundamental in life. You are limited only by what you know and what you can do. And you can expand what you know by investing in more knowledge. You can expand your resources by building relationship with people who have resources, investors. Okay? It's a different mindset entirely, right? It's a different mindset. So there are several differences. I just wanted to highlight a few. Every Friday in my academy, we run through money mindset. The reason I talk about money mindset is, imagine if you're a nurse and you know nothing about blood, you're in the wrong business. So if you're a wealth creator, you're an entrepreneur, and you're not continuing to fine tune and improve your relationship with money, I always say there are three relationships you must have with money. You must be able to attract it, you must be able to manage it, and you must be able to invest it. Three relationships with money, healthy relationships. Okay, healthy relationships. Okay, attract, manage, invest. Every other thing people are doing out there, if you're not comfortable talking about money, how do you collect money? Okay, my funny. Okay, Miss Kubalaga knows all this, my funny laughter. So if you're new, welcome to my world, right? Is that if you don't feel comfortable talking about money or collecting money, how do you collect money? How do you attract it? If you don't feel comfortable, if you're a medical doctor and the sight of blood, you're like cringing, you have to feel comfortable. You have to really, you're in the business of money, right? If you're an entrepreneur and if you're a millionaire, right, or you aspire to be one, you need to get comfortable to understand where this money is going to come from. It's going to come from people. And that's why your people relationship is at the center of all of these things. I've met many new entrepreneurs that they have horrible, can I use the word horrible people skills? Horrible, like that, like really, really nasty. You can't build it. What can you build with that? Because people, you have to be able to attract people. You have to be somebody that people enjoy engaging, working with. I'm giving you tips, life-changing tips for you to ascend, for you to build wealth, for you to make more money. That money needs to come from customers, clients, investors, governments, wherever, into your business or into your, right? If you're somebody that people do not like being around, you're scaring your money off. Okay? Millionaires they have extremely good people skills. Millionaire mindset. They already know. They know how to work with people. They know how to influence people. They know how to lead people. They know how to engage with people, and people want to also work with them. They know the value of people. Trust me, millionaires are people, people persons. They're very personable, right? They have very good people manners, particularly if you are in their corner. They might appear aloof to people outside of their network, but I'm telling you, in that network, everybody in there, they are making money, living a good life, and then they fence themselves and keep themselves away from everybody else. That's how it works. That's why you can't see them. They don't want you to see them because they are living happily ever after in their caucus, in their network. Yacht club, right? All those spaces. They are specific, incredible spaces where you find them. You won't find them just randomly on social media. That's why I always say invest. When I'm hosting, if you see me post an event, you want to be there. If I say I'm doing, you want to fly, you want to be there. If I'm saying I'm doing a class, you need to be there. If I you need because that's what this is about. That's what this is about. Wealth creation, the right people, the right network, the right information, the right classes, the right lessons, right for those who want to educate themselves and want to do this right. Because entrepreneurship is the first stage, really, if you were not born into this level of wealth and you want to be the one that generates it first, right? Many people that are already born into a millionaire family, right? They are naturally groomed, right? They're exposed. Okay. Miss Kabbalah guy says they are protecting their energy. Yes, because the energy, the focus, the tenacity, the grit, the dedication, there's intentionality behind everything you're going to do every single day. If you are focused on building, growing, scaling to $1 million, you cannot be playing around, right? You cannot. Right? You cannot. I don't know how people do this stuff. So yes, they're protecting their energy, and they're also bringing other people to help bring their energy and resources to propel these things forward. They don't do this. They're not alone. Ooh, not. This book was okay. I'm trying to understand what you're typing. Anyway, let me start wrapping up for today. Tons more to share. But let me quickly share announcements. My TV show in Illinois here. You can learn more at toyinyumesiri.com/TV show. I'm bringing in guest speakers, government, right, in partnership with the mayor's communications team here. And then what else? Every week I have the money mindset coaching at toyinyumesiri.academy. That's where my accelerator is. That's where my school is. That's where my students are. Those who want to learn from me, the things I do, the people I know, right, to help them build their wealth. And then what else is coming up? I'm looking at my notes here. Oh, if you also want information about upcoming programs and master classes, particularly in the world of international trade as well, there, if you want to become a trade and investment facilitator, you want to work with government, you want to be able to like investments, that's the investment side of my work. You can also learn more at toyinyumesiri.com/programs. I hope I didn't miss anything else. Any questions, comments? These are good stuff. Great stuff, right? To get you started, get you thinking. And I invite you to enroll in the 10-week accelerator if you are really at the build phase, right? If you're at the build, if you're building your business and you want to build it right, I always use if, okay? Because not everybody is going where we're going. I understand that, right? Not everybody is going where we're going. But if you want to build your business right and set it up for long-term success, and you want to approach it as a wealth creator, wealth builder, and you want to build assets, not liabilities. You know, when some people are building liabilities, you know why? You find sometimes some entrepreneurs are so stressed out because the business is running them. They are not running the business. They've just built a liability, right? They've just built a liability. No freedom, no liberty, right? Timothy says, do you still run Nazaru? Yes, so Nazaru, absolutely. Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of Nazaru. We host events, international trade summits, we work with government. Yes, that's the international trade and economic development side. We do every work with government and then those who want to grow and expand internationally, right? And then the academy is for entrepreneurs, right, who want to learn how to build it right, grow and scale. So I hope I'm answering your questions. And the reason this part is so important is that international trade development is like the Olympics of business. Is highly competitive, right? And what happened is that many people that were following my work would show up without skills, without experience. And I'm going, how do you go into Olympics if you don't even know how to structure a business? You don't even know sales marketing. You've not strengthened that capacity, right? I saw enough of it that I went, okay, you know what? Not only am I going to train you the sophisticated skills of trade and investment facilitation, export development, market entry strategies. That's the language really at the highest levels when it comes to cross-border transactions, working with government, right? That's where my work started from. So that is available if you want to learn, right? If you're ready, if you feel you're ready, there's trade and investment facilitation masterclass, there's market entry strategy, right? There's export development. That's advanced. What then happened is that for you to compete at the highest level, if you come into my world and I say, okay, what products are you selling? Okay, what's your offer? And you don't know how to pitch, you don't know how to offer, then you don't need to be in the rooms where we're talking about ambassadors and investors, right? That room is heavy and people come in there unprepared, right? Because they don't have a product, they don't have a service, they're just stumbling in and they're like, you can see it. This is the reason why the entrepreneurship side of the work is helping people speed up, right? Speed up the growth of your business. If you've never built a business before, the entrepreneurship touring is where you learn how to do it right. Okay. And then when you learn how to build it right, guess what? The sky is the limit. Now you can go anywhere, do anything, compete at the highest levels, right? And engage with buyers and at any level. So that's how this is structured, is that there's the sophisticated government side, international trade development side of my work. However, we need to bridge people who want to go in. If you go in there without having ever built a business, guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Anyway, so that's how the two sides of my work combines, is that entrepreneurship development is the foundation of building, knowing how to build, grow, and scale, marketing, sales, branding, right? Securing that 10-week accelerator. You want to go now to tonyumsv.com/program, see the different programs. I also have few slots for one-on-one. I always prefer to work one-on-one with people who have already put some things in place and they wanted to go take it to the next level. That way I can come in and guide you and help you, right? Always to do it right. And it's focused on wealth creation. Now, some entrepreneurs, their focus is to just replace income, right? Maybe you're living corporate and you're just looking for a business that would replace the income you just left, right? That mindset is still different because you're approaching it. It's like planting a seed today and telling the ground, give me back my seed tomorrow. That mindset too leads to a lot of interesting scenarios as well, right? Because as a millionaire, listen, you plant it, you cover it, you water it, you weed it, you put fertilizer, and then you watch it grow. Okay? It's a different game. Millionaires will buy assets because they want it to grow. There are people who just want to income to substitute, right? Corporate income. You find a lot of stress in that space because they're not doing everything they ought to do to build an asset that will then generate income. They're looking for income before they've built an asset. Nothing wrong with that. It's another story entirely, right? It's another mindset. That's why I'm saying that not all millionaires are entrepreneurs, not all entrepreneurs are millionaires. It's a Venn diagram. There's similarities, but so much more differences. And my book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, is available on Amazon. You can grab a copy if you're considering leaving corporate job to become an entrepreneur. You really want to read this book, and then enroll in my accelerator if you want to speed up your ability to structure your business in such a way that it holds equity, right? You build it right and it can scale. It can scale. That's it. Nowazi, Aguele, Antoni, Tision, Belda, Alexis, Pedro, thank you for being here. Before I leave, I want to give you an opportunity to come share what resonated with you, or any question you have. You have to raise your hand for this to work. You have to raise your hand and then I'll bring you up to speed. And thank you, Miss Kobola Guy, for always engaging. And those also on the other platforms, Instagram. Thank you. So, in summary, really, I think one of the highlights from what I'm seeing on Instagram is check your network. Your network is your net worth. Do that exercise I told you, share it, and then let me know what you think as well. And Team Replay, thank you for being here. Follow, like, subscribe, and head over to toyinumesiri.com/programs to access entrepreneurship international trade programs, courses, classes, one-on-one sessions, and then you can get my book also on Amazon. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'll see you again. And thank you for being here.